I would like to talk to you about the future. A future I feel we could have with a lot of help. You see, at the start of my career, I, like most people, and if I'm honest, probably all of us in this room, I had no idea where to start. And that really frustrated me because I thought after graduating from this university, I would just go into my job and I'd be fine and it would be great. And that didn't happen. So about a year went by and I kept thinking, what's going on here? So after that frustration, I thought, let's stop this. Let's think about things slightly differently. And I chose to think about things from a point of view of, instead of what do I want to do, let's think about things from a different point of view. Why do I want to do whatever it is I'll end up doing? And importantly for me, who do I want to be? I'm very aware that a picture of Ironman has just appeared on the screen. I of course want to be Iron Man. He's the coolest superhero. But I'm 5'5", and I look like this, not Robert Downey Jr. Thank you for laughing. I appreciate that. But what you have there in Iron Man is someone with a purpose, and that's what I really wanted to be. So instead of thinking about what is this that I want to do, I thought, let's not worry about that. Let's concentrate on why I'm doing it and who I want to be. And I was an emerging environmental scientist at the time, so I was obviously into environmentalism and conservation and animals. I was a giant hippie inside, and I wanted to go around the world saving all the animals. That's the job I wanted. I remember saying just before I graduated to a friend, they asked me, what do you want to do next? And I said, so if there's an oil spill and everything gets oily, because I was that good a student at the time, oily, I want to fly there and save it. That's the job I wanted. That is not really a real job, but that's what I wanted to do. So I thought, okay, let's just open my mind and just talk to people under these ethics that I had. Environmentalism, sustainability, just ethics, doing good. And that is the best thing I have ever done. Because since then, over those years, so much good has happened. Now we do have conservation projects all around the world, in 4 different continents. Ethical products, a sustainable coffee range, and the future is looking really big and bright. We've got documentaries coming in, urban sustainable farms, loads of great stuff, just by talking to people. Instead of having that idea of, I'm doing this, it doesn't matter what you do if you have those core ethics. That all culminated to me at the start of this year, thanks to a nomination by this university, actually, and eventually the US Embassy. I got nominated to go to America for 3 weeks. I ended up going for 4 at the start of this year on a trip, and I did. I had to fight my biggest fear on day 1, which was no fun at all, and that is flying. I don't know how you all do with flying, but I do not do well at all. But I did it. I did it with the help of 2 beautiful, wonderful, just really, really amazing bottles of wine. Next thing I know, I'm in Washington, D.C. with a hangover, and that's it. I'm in America, and I'm meeting these wonderful people from all over the world with the same ethics and beliefs as me: environmentalism, sustainability, urban development, things like that. And we traveled across America for 3 weeks with the US State Department and a wonderful company called Meridian. And the whole point of the tour was to let us meet other people who thought like us. That is such a great opportunity to be in amongst people like you, meeting other people like you. It is the most inspiring time because the discussions that come out of it are just amazing, especially when you have the same ideas about life. But the trip was more than that to me personally, because I went at quite a turbulent time for America. I arrived in Washington, D.C. with that giant hangover just a few hours after the exchange of power in the White House. So, which I'm sure you've all heard of in one way or another. So America was not quite America, it was quite different. And I got a front row seat to all of that. So I spent 3 weeks traveling America, meeting people who, to be honest, were really inspiring. I know lots of arguably very bad things are happening at the moment in the world when it comes to this situation. But what I saw for 3 weeks were literally tens of thousands of futurists. I saw people who genuinely cared about their future and were trying to do something about it, whether it was just talking to people, which, as I say, I feel is the most important thing there is, or they were doing something about it. And that was the best thing I could have ever seen, because I had a front row seat from Washington, D.C. to New York, all the way to California, and I saw thousands upon thousands of people who cared about their future, and many of which were putting their personal touch in it, like this guy here. So I came back quite recently, just a few weeks ago, with the help of more wine, and I've decided to make my biggest project even bigger. You see, I'm designing a city, a whole city. Everything from the recreation space, the waste is not fun, but it's important, the architecture, the office space, absolutely everything. With a group of, a very large group who are growing every day of architects, designers, environmentalists, artists. Just the group is growing every single day, and it's really great to see. So why would I design a city? Why would I do something which is arguably going to fail? Chances are this city will not be built. What I noticed a few years ago was if you talk about a concept, you talk openly. Issues I always had with trying to get people to be honest was they would put their framework on it. So if I was talking about a building which was right next to me, and I said, well, what if we change this little bit here? The person I was talking to would often go, oh, well, this bit's already here, or that's going to cost money, which is fine, that's what we do. But that's not what I was thinking of, because I have the goal of changing things for the better. I don't necessarily mind how much it's going to cost. So if I'm putting a concept there, what I found is the people I'm talking to get really excited, they get really happy to talk about what they think should be there, and the discussions are amazing, and therefore we make change. So, lots of discussions come into place that I never thought would happen. A good example is, if you live in a city, chances are your air is not what it should be, which isn't a good thing, but it's something we need to talk about, and often people don't. How dare your air not be good for you? How dare your water be dirty? How dare you be sold products that aren't good for you and arguably shorten your life? That is not what life should be. But it gets even deeper than that when you get people talking in such an honest way. The 40-hour work week, for example, is something I'm very interested in. Research shows it's not good for you. But in the UK, most of us do Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. But is it really just 40 hours when you look at it properly? Let's face it, the average commuter time, I think, is about half an hour now, which that's an extra hour a day. So that's 45 hours a week. But then on a Sunday, you might get asked to do something that you really want to do, but you've got to prepare for Monday, whether doing it or just thinking about it. It actually is about a 60 to 70-hour work week. And that is not good. You should be able to do more than that. So, designing the city has enabled us to openly discuss, and that is great. So, even if all that happens is one day in 2050, I'm sat outside a restaurant on a beautiful spring day with my intelligent, caring, gorgeous wife, because I'm still holding on to hope that I will have a wife. Thank you. And I see something in that city that is slightly different because of the way my group has managed to sway that city, then that's it, I've won. But I don't think that's all that's going to happen. I think if enough of us have those frameworks and those ethics, and instead of thinking about what you're doing, you think more about why you're doing it or who you are, in my case, Ironman, or Robert Downey Jr., then I think that entire city will change for the better too. You see, the biggest lie in the entire world, I believe, is that our opinion doesn't make a difference. And I think in the future, everything we plan, everything we do, everything we think of should be designed to do no harm to this planet, but should also do something good for us as humans. Why would you design something otherwise? So that's why I'm a futurist, and you can be too. Thank you.